Chapter 8, Mishnah 7. The Mishnah teaches what an attacker must do in order to be forgiven by God for the sin of hurting a person. Even though he gives his victim the 5 payments, he is not forgiven by God until he asks for forgiveness from the victim. As it is stated, God came to Avimelech in a dream by night and said to him, "Behold, you are going to die because of the woman Sarah you have taken, and she is a married woman. But now return the man's wife, etc. For he, Abraham, is a prophet, and he will pray for you and you will live." Genesis chapter 20, verses 3 and 7. The verse implies that it was not enough for Avimelech to merely return Sarah to Abraham. He also had to ask Abraham's forgiveness until Abraham would forgive him so wholeheartedly that he would even pray on Avimelech's behalf. And from where do we know that the victim should not be cruel and refuse to forgive? For it is stated, Abraham prayed to God, and God healed Avimelech, etc. Verse 17 there. Abraham indeed forgave Avimelech and prayed on his behalf. So too, anyone who suffers at the hands of others should forgive them when they ask for forgiveness. The Mishnah moves to a new subject, namely where one person asks another to injure him. If one person said to another, "Blind my eye," or "cut off my hand," or "break my leg," and the other person did so, the attacker is obligated to pay for the injury, even though the victim asked him to injure him, because the victim was not serious. Moreover, even if the attacker replied, "When you asked me to injure you, did you mean to exempt me from liability?" and the victim said yes, the attacker is obligated to pay, because the person is unlikely to want to suffer pain, and thus did not seriously mean to exempt the attacker. Although the victim said yes, he was presumably expressing astonishment, as in, "Do you really think I am exempting you from payment?" The law is different when one person asks another to damage his possessions. If one person said to another, "Tear my garment," or "break my jug," and the other person did so, the damager is obligated to pay for the damage because the owner was not serious. But if the damager said, "When you asked me to damage your property, did you mean to exempt me from liability?" then even if the owner said no, the damager is not obligated to pay, because it is not unusual for a person to forego payment for damage to his possessions. Since he already said, "Tear my garment," we interpret no as an expression of astonishment, as in, "Do you really think that I will hold you liable?" A related case. If one person said to another, "Do this damage to so-and-so or to his possessions," even if he adds, "and I intend to exempt you from liability," that is, I will pay for the damage, the damager is obligated to pay whether he damaged the victim's body or his possessions. One person cannot exempt a second person from payments that he incurs for damaging a third person. The damager must therefore pay.